I started today's project like I start many of my projects, and that is with sea spray. So I put 2 scoops of sea spray into my cup and then poured in some of this Anchor, which is a true black from Dixie Belle. And generally you put 8 ounce to 2 scoops of paint, but I just kind of make it up as I go along, depending what texture I want. And today this is the texture that I'm going for. It's kind of a little bit on the gloopy side. So I've already done half of this buffet, but I thought I would show you what I am doing on this door here. So I have the Bestang brush, which is a very large, round, natural bristled brush, and I am stippling, which means I am dabbing all of my sea spray mixture onto this piece. I love the fact the weather is warm enough that I can actually paint outside. I think it teased me though, because it was warm for one day and then it hasn't been warm since. It's been pretty cold. And this buffet, it has been sat on my friend's pitch for a while now. I think it's been sat for almost a year, if not more. So we both decided that I would work on it and give it a makeover. But, you know, I want to do something that kind of respects its style, this Art Deco style, while also giving it a really bold edge. This layer of paint is literally going to be my base. I am not going to leave it like this, I promise, although I do think it looks quite good, to be fair. I could have left it here if I really wanted to, but I am going to do some more painting over the top. I just wanted a really good thick textured layer on there to start with. I'm not too overly concerned about covering all of the wood up completely, because I know I'm going to go in there and do some extra blending and layering. I am covering the pulls for this piece. I know some of you aren't fans of that. You can always take the pulls off if you're not a fan of pulls being painted, but in this case I kind of just wanted to make them look part of the piece. I painted the side of this piece exactly in the same way as the top as well, and you can see here this is kind of the stippling process I used. Check out this blend. Okay, so let me show you what colours that I used to get this, and I'm going to show you how to achieve this very dramatic green blend. Alright, so the first colour that I used is Midnight Green. This is from Dixie Belle. It's one of their Silk All-in-One mineral paint colours. Just bear in mind that this is the green I used, but you can use any other green. It doesn't necessarily have to be this one, but if you want to achieve this exact look, then this is the one that you need. I also used Anchor. I love this black. It's probably, I would say it's probably the truest black that I've come across. It's really inky. Is inky a word? It is now. So it's, yeah. So we're going to call this inky. So you can see it's really dark. And then the other colour that I used to highlight, just ignore the top there, is Endless Shores. And this is like an off-white colour. So it's got a tiny little bit of yellow in it. It's also got black and green in it right now, which it shouldn't do. Yeah, just make sure you pour your colours out before you start blending, otherwise you'll do that, and that is not good. All right, I'll show you how to do it now. Silk mineral paint has a faster drying time than chalk mineral paint, so I decided to do this blend in layers. I started with my Midnight Green and put it all around those edges. I am using one brush for each colour as well in order to do my blending. So here you'll see that I am working in sections, and then once I have placed some of my green, I go in with my black, which is Anchor, and just very softly start blending that into my green. My workshop is really cold, so I don't really have to worry about using any water. However, if you are living in a hot climate, a tiny little mist of water while you blend won't hurt the silk paint. That being said, don't go in there with a crazy amount of water, because that can affect all of the good properties of it, such as the primer and the clear coat. I then work around the other border in the exact same way. So I place my green and then I blend some of the Anchor into the green, and same again, I then head into the middle and start placing some of my Midnight Green over some of these details. I don't want to fully cover all of these details, so I do leave some of that original Anchor and sea spray peeking through, just to help make this look a little bit more rustic. It also helps to have a rag on hand as well when you're doing this kind of work, especially with silk, just so that you can wipe off any excess if your brush just starts to get a little bit too loaded with paint. I then decide to highlight some of these details with Endless Shores, and I start to brush that over the flowers. I actually used kind of too much here. It's better as also to go in there with a tiny little bit of paint and start to build it up, kind of like I am here with the anchor, the black paint, and I brush some of the anchor over the top as well. Don't fret if you have gone in with too much, just wipe off your brush and then go in either with a neutral brush or go in with, you know, your original, your middle colour, which in this case is the green, and just slowly start to kind of blend, you know, that white or whatever colour you've used too much of out. I then start to work on this panel. So again, you can see here how I am working in sections, and I start by placing my midnight green all over this panel. And once I've placed my midnight green, I also just follow the same process again, and I start to put my black around the edges to create that kind of vignette. It's the black that's really going to make this look dark and dramatic and bold. It's going to contrast a lot with the green. And then when I go in and put in my white, that then is going to highlight it. So we've got these 3 variations of colour, which is just going to make it look as I say, it's going to make it look really dramatic. I am not perfectly blending my edges out because this is, my looks are always a little bit rustic and a little bit, what's the word, like I'm actually wanting a bit of a smoky look here as well. So I'm happy for some of those edges to kind of be apparent because I just think it's going to add to this overall extreme, bold, in your face kind of look that I'm going for here. Once I had my colours placed where I wanted them, I then added some of the Endless Shores, which is my white highlighter colour, into the middle there. I just make it thicker in the middle and then thin it out towards the edges there. And then I'm kind of just going back and forth between my white and my green colour just to kind of blend that out. I might even have to go in and use a little bit of black. Okay, so up next is Dixie Belle's Black Glaze. It kind of looks blue, but I promise you it dries black even though it looks blue in the container, and I love to use this for a smoky, kind of a dirty smoky look. So I'm going to be applying it with just a really cheap chip brush. I think these are like $1.50 or something from Dixie Belle. They're really, really cheap. The reason why I like these is because they have this kind of scratchy texture to them, which means it's going to help me achieve that smoky look even more so. So that's the inside. I'm going to put a fair amount on my brush, probably going to put around that amount, and then I'm just going to put it everywhere. I'm only going to put 1 layer on. I'm going to stipple in these details, and I want it to be uneven. But I'm wanting the bristles on this to make it look really scratchy, if you catch my drift. I'm wanting this to look really smoky and streaky, and you can probably see now why this brush is perfect for that. And where it is thicker blue, I promise you it does dry black, it's going to be thicker black. So yeah, I just want to achieve that really smoky look. I am going to place 1 layer of this everywhere, and then I'm kind of just going to leave it be. I don't want it crazy dark. I don't want it to take away all of that highlighting and stuff that I've done. I just want a really soft, streaky, smoky look. But if you want a stronger glaze look, then by all means you can go in with more than 1 coat if you decide to. And there are lots of different glazes that you can choose from the Dixie Belle range. This just happens to be one of my favourites. And not only does it dry streaky, but it will also dry, you know, give it a glaze look as well, so it will dry with a very soft sheen. And just to give you an idea, this is what I did earlier, and hopefully you can see that streakiness there now on the panel. This is kind of how the glaze dries, and I love it so much. Okay, because I have used a lot of texture and blends and things, my side of my doors are looking a little crusty, so I just get a scraper and scrape off that paint, and then just with my fingers I'm using some gold gilding wax, and I'm also applying a little bit of a dusting of this gilding wax over the details there as well to make it look brighter but also a little bit more aged, and I very softly put a little bit over the lock and the pull as well. And in the interior, I only painted the doors. I didn't paint the whole interior, but I decided to paint the doors in Anchor as well, which is that true black, and I put 2 layers of silk paint on there. I actually really love silk paint for when I do paint the interiors though, because of the built-in top coat and the fact it dries hard as nails and, in my opinion, completely scratch proof. And then decide to stencil the panels. So I just cut up a little bit of sponge. Sponge tends to be my preferred method for stenciling. And this is the new stencil by Dixie Belle called Triffy Blocks, which is perfect for a geometric Art Deco style, which I've kind of got going on. I've got the kind of essence of an Art Deco style going on here. And yeah, I just put copper gilding wax and it creates this gorgeous stencil. And here's the finished look, guys. It's nice to do something bold and dramatic for a change. Really enjoyed this one. Let me know in the comments what you thought to this piece. And I also kept the top there if you notice as well. But yeah, let me know, guys, and have a lovely time painting. As always, take care and bye-bye.